So yeah, I know what you're saying. You're going 2016 FRQ6. Thank you. Why didn't you put this one at the beginning? I don't know. I don't know why they did that. That's just messed up. That's messed up. Like this is your reward for I don't know how many hours of an AP test, unless it's 2020. Then it's a short AP test. But other years, your whatever 3.5, 4 hour AP test ended with this guy. And this is the one where you get the table of values, and then they're like, do you know the chain rule? Do you know the quotient rule? Do you know the product rule? Can you do U substitution? Blah, 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 blah. That's all they do. They do that for this stuff all the time. There's always a question like this somewhere in the free response questions. Sometimes they put it in the calculator version, but then you don't even need a calculator to use it, so whatever. So here we go. Here's my tables. They're giving me two functions and two sets of values. They give me f, f prime, g, and g prime. And then they're going to ask me about other functions that are related to f and g prime, or f and g. So here we go. Question A. Question A says basically, look, I'm going to ask you about k of x. And k of x is going to be f of g of x. So lo and behold, what do we have, ladies and gentlemen? We got a big chain rule. And I want the equation of the tangent line. So I need to find k prime at 3 so that I can find the slope of this tangent line. So here we go. First of all, k of 3, I do need to find the point. So I'm going to plug in a 3 into f of g of x. G of 3, I go up to my table, and I'm like, g of 3 is 6. So this becomes f of 6. And then I go back up to my table, and f of 6 is worth 4. So that means the point that I'm talking about is 3, 4. And then I need the derivative. Of course, the derivative of this is going to be f prime of g of x times g prime of x because of the chain rule. So here's my chain rule problem. I'm going to plug in my 3's, g of 3, plug that back into f prime, use my table, and I get a slope of 10. So my equation for my tangent line is just going to be y, I would have probably written it, y minus 4 equals 10 parenthesis x minus 3, but they just took it one step. By the way, notice you get 2 points for finding the slope. Chain. All right, and then 1 point for the tangent line. All right, second question says h of x is worth this. Find h prime of 1. So I need to find h prime of x. That's going to be worth some points. And then I find h prime of 1. Right? So here we go. H prime of 1. They wrote expression for h prime of 1. I'm guessing. You could have probably just said, hey, you know what I need? I need h prime of x equals, and you could have said f of x, g prime of x minus g of x, f prime of x all over f of x squared. Then you plug the 1's in. That would have gotten you that. And if you correctly calculate all of this using your amazing numerical sense, you would have gotten -3/2. All right, last chunk. I usually don't see these on these parts of these types of questions, but evidently they want you to do an integral also. So they want to calculate the integral from 1 to 3 of f double prime of 2x dx. So if you think of what that is, that's kind of like if I took the integral of f double prime, I would get f prime. So they're using f double prime, and then they're going to have you find the integral of that to get you back to f prime so you can use this table. The only key thing is this u. Remember, if u equals 2x, then du is going to be 2dx. So du over 2 is going to equal dx. So I have this little 1/2 that I have to deal with, and that thing's going to keep coming up in this problem. So here we go. The integral of, let me show you where it looks down here. So the integral from 1 to 3 of f double prime dx is going to be, well, there's the 1/2 that I talked about, right? So this would become 1/2 f prime of u and the u is 2x. So I get 1/2 f prime of 2x. I just use that u substitution there. And I have to go from 3 to 1. So when I plug the 3 in, I get 6. When I plug the 1 in, I get 2. So it's going to be 1/2 of whatever f prime of 6 is. And I go to my table, there's f prime of 6, there's f prime of 2. I go back to my problem and I plug those numbers in. And I end up with a value of 7/2. So you get 2 points for this correct antiderivative right here. And then you get 1 point for that answer. All right, hopefully those went well. 2016 was a good year. Hopefully the rest of our year gets better. Here we go.